Nobody thinks they're going to have a limb amputated, drop into a diabetic coma or go blind. They don't tell you because they don't want you to worry. Did you know 1 in 4 diabetics have a limb amputated? Diabetic retinopathy is a disease that degenerates the eyesight of 40% of diabetics in the US. Diabetes leads to blindness, heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, and even poor brain health. A study published in World Journal of Diabetes found that diabetes increases the risk of severe brain deterioration by 65%. If you're a victim of this crippling disease, you have to know one thing. It's not your fault. Do you want to have the energy you once had? Never take meds again? Eat whatever you want? Never get horrible side effects from medication again? Lose weight effortlessly? Diabetes is not what you think. It's not what they told you causes it: age, weight, eating too much sugar or carbs, and genetics. The truth, according to a breakthrough American study from the University of Utah, suggests the cause is a tiny lipid molecule that forces toxic fat cells into your blood. The toxic fat then sticks to your pancreas, liver, and heart, suffocating your vital organs and stiffens your arteries. But why did my doctor never tell me that diabetes type 2 has been reversed in thousands of people? People have been reversing diabetes, yet my own doctor, who I trusted, never once mentioned it to me. But why didn't he mention it? Diabetes generates millions of dollars for the big pharmaceutical giants. Several big pharma companies have been caught red-handed bribing doctors to push their diabetes pills on people who don't need them. I felt furious at myself for having blindly followed his advice. Today I'll show you the scientific proof behind this method that reverses type 2 diabetes in 9 out of 10 people. And you can decide yourself if it's worth it. I'll show you how the shady powers behind the scenes have set up a clever trap to hide the medication and trick you into taking their meds for the rest of your life. No more worries about horrific, life-ending conditions caused by diabetes. No more panic attacks about falling into a diabetic coma and waking up with brain damage. No more waking up from nightmares, drenched in sweat about having your leg hacked off. No more blowing thousands of hard-earned dollars a year on meds that cause bloating, kidney problems and failure to perform in the bedroom. I'll also show you one common vegetable most people eat almost every day, that's infected with a nasty toxin that's making your diabetes worse, not better. Finally, discover the phytohack a Japanese scientist is using to cure his patients of diabetes. This diabetes reversing method involved no medication, no crash diets and no exercise. But before we begin, I want you to know, this is not a new medication. It's not a crash diet. It's not a supplement. Did you know Americans have decreased their consumption of both sugar and carbs over the last 10 to 15 years? Yet diabetes type 2 rates are shooting up faster than ever before. After much research, scientists have discovered that a toxic molecule is the real cause of diabetes type 2. Not carbs and not sugar. You probably already know that your pancreas is the organ that produces insulin, but when it's clogged up with toxic fat, it can't do its job and secretes insulin. And insulin is what tells your cells to absorb sugar and energy from the foods you eat. Without insulin, sugar stays in your bloodstream and your blood sugar creeps up and up, eventually leading to diabetes type 2. Now, the problem is that some of us can't flush out foreign compounds like ceramides on our own. This is why some people get diabetes type 2 and others don't. No matter how hard you try to fix your blood sugar, even if you exercise daily and eat next to no sugar and carbs, It's near impossible to reverse diabetes type 2 unless you fix this one thing. The good news is we now know how to flush out the root cause of the fat, which is this ceramide compound. When you do this, you'll stop fat from entering your bloodstream and clogging your pancreas. You only need to add a powerful blend of phytonutrients to your diet that target and destroy the cause of this fat, and melt it away. These phytonutrients are powerful plant compounds that help neutralize foreign agents in the blood, flush out harmful toxins and break down deadly fat cells. You'll find them in certain fruits and vegetables. The most powerful of these plant compounds are flavonoids, lignans, profenylphenols. You'll find profenylphenols in foods like chives, grapes, dark chocolate and cinnamon. You'll get lignans from eating squash and carrots. And flavonoids you'll find in celery, parsley and romaine lettuce. But the key is not to get these foods and just eat them in any order. You'll need to combine them in specific amounts and take them at certain times of the day for them to work. Well, scientists at the University of East Anglia in England first discovered that phytonutrients are powerful antioxidants that first target and flush out the dangerous ceramide compound that causes the fat to clog your organs in the first place. When you add these nutrients to your diet in these specific combinations, it'll be like you finally get rid of the guy who's pouring fat down your sink every night and blocking it up. After testing this, 9 out of 10 diabetics, the toxic fat around their organs melted completely, firing up the pancreas and turning the liver into a fat-burning machine. The Japanese doctor then told me he'd worked for a major pharma company to develop this treatment a few years ago, but to his shock, the research was suddenly shut down without warning. See, the problem was that his phytonutrient combination was so powerful that it would be capable of reversing diabetes in tens of millions of people over the next 2 years. But they didn't want that because they would lose money. He developed an easy-to-follow 3-step approach that caused participants to bulletproof themselves against diabetes type 2. Not only did 9 out of 10 of the participants reverse their diabetes, but they kept it away for good, even 5 years on. Which vegetable is bad for diabetes? I asked the Japanese doctor. Kale, he replied. He said that in the 2019 USDA tests on kale, more than 92% of kale samples had 2 or more pesticide residues detected. The most frequently detected pesticide is DCPA, and it's classified by the Environmental Protection Agency since 1995 as a possible human carcinogen, and prohibited for use in Europe since 2009. And all this time this healthy vegetable had been destroying my body from the inside. And it made me determined to try his solution out, but I needed to know more. He printed out some sheets of paper and scribbled on them for a few minutes, then handed me a binder. In that binder was the exact diabetes reversing method that had been perfected for his patients. Do you want to know what was in the binder? Wait, I'll show you soon. Try this for 3 weeks, he said. Then check your blood sugar levels. I reminded the doctor that I couldn't exercise due to my damaged kneecap. There's not a single workout in my program, he replied. And in fact, I don't recommend that you exercise. I was a little confused as I expected that I'd need to do daily exercise and follow a crash diet. I didn't know I could reverse diabetes with no more than a binder and some handwritten notes on it. But I trusted the doctor and I felt he was on my side. I started the program the very next day and was struck by how simple and easy to follow it was. I could find the ingredients at a couple of local grocery stores. The delicious diabetes-destroying shakes made me feel instantly more energetic and lighter. Do you want to know all the steps in the binder? Click the link in the description below this video. I have decided to share this with you as no one will, not even your doctors. So click the link in the description below and begin to eat your way out of diabetes,